What's up, guys? It's the Beat Street Bully Billionaire, baby. And I'm back and I'm ready to break down the FedEx Cup playoffs, baby. Let's go, okay? Took a little hiatus. We got a different page rolling. Beat Street Slappers. Go follow that if you can, if you like beats, okay? That's been why I've been gone, but I'm back. And I'm going to break down the playoffs for you degenerate pigs, monkeys, chimps, lizards, all you disgusting people are going to get a nice tasty breakdown today, okay? So first things first, where are we playing? Okay, Memphis, Tennessee, TPC, South Wind, okay? And pretty much going to be a similar track to last week. I'm not really going to break it down that much. You guys can figure that out. Go look up a breakdown. But we're going to be more focused on the players, the DFS, the outrights, okay? All systems go, weather go, don't gotta worry about the weather. So let's take a look, okay, at some of the plays here. All right. First thing up, okay, we're gonna take a look at the big boys ready to go. First dog on the board, Scotty Scheffler, gold medalist, ready to go. Okay, just won a gold medal, just had his best performance of his career, I believe. But he's going to be probably the highest owned guy again. So this dude's going to be the highest owned player on the slate at 12-4. And then you got Xander, second highest at 11-4. Now, I got a problem with these two. Not really great history here. Shouldn't really matter. But I'm looking for a dude with some history. I'm looking to pivot off all the ownership. And so I'm interested in McIlroy. McIlroy, pretty tasty here. Top 3 here last year. Been carving up, always carves up the playoff events, pounding his driver. Not going to matter here, but coming off a 5th, a 4th. I mean, he's just been chewing. So we're going to go with McIlroy. Okay, Ludwig, everyone likes Ludwig. He's all right. You know, Morikawa is... we're going to fade these two. I would say you're going to have to go with McIlroy or Morikawa as the two guys you're going to go with. Okay, I'm just looking consensus around the industry. Okay, this is going to be a quick vid to kind of break through, you know, just some bullshit. Who do you go with? Who do you go with? Don't go with. Ludwig can't really close. Okay, Morikawa been really close, probably could win. So you can easily put him in there, bet him. McIlroy been really close, probably could win, easily put him in there. So if you don't want to play the two ownership pigs up at the top, then those are your two options. Okay, Fleetwood, choke artist. So you want to play Fleetwood? Be my guest. 9-8. He did good here last year. Top finish, in good form. Second place at the Olympics. Is going to be lower owned. He's not going to be... See the ownership here where it says 10% and then Cantlay 16? That'll be flipped. So you're going to get higher owned Fleetwood, less owned Cantlay. But still, you're talking about putting a guy in a lineup that is going to choke. He can't win. He's a choker. Not to say he can't win. For some reason, he just can't fucking win. I'm not going with him. He's a choker. Okay, Cantlay, I went with him last year. Paid off. T2. Should have won. Choked it by shipping it into the water on 18 versus Lucas Glover. Not really feeling what he's been doing lately. He's been okay. 25th to 5th, second place here, 11th. He should be okay, but not really loving him. Victor Hovland will be lower owned. Not really been great. You know what I mean? Everyone's probably going to go with this Hideki. I would say go with Hideki for an outright bet or Corey Connors. These two plays I would be very interested in. It's just like, I don't think you have to worry about these two dudes being up there. Other thing I would worry about would be Hideki withdrawing for some reason because he's a little fucking bitch and will sometimes do that. But they're both coming off top finishes. Both have played well here, played good last year here. Both are playing good right now. Both play in the fairway, real accurate, lower end of that range. Ton of people were betting Hideki outright, so I would say that's a good play. I kind of like Corey Connors a little bit more. Then you got Russell Henley. Russell Henley, I mean, he's pretty good, but he's more like that deeper type of bomb and gouge type of course, I feel like, is where he shows up, not these shorter, accurate ones. Oh, he was the Open. Look at the Open, he's 5th. But for some reason, you did him more driving distance there. I don't know. 6th place here last year. Could probably be pretty good. I think he's a little bit too expensive for what he really could do, and also a dude who just doesn't really win. Now, Tom Kim intrigues me. Korean's going to do well here. Play similar to the Wyndham Championship where they do well there. So I'm in on that, you know. In on a Kim at 89. 8th place finish. 15th. Second came last year, 24th and 13th. So he's had 2 decent starts here, has not had the ceiling performance here. Definitely could easily have a top performance here. Okay, then we go with Finau. Finau is the one that's a little bit intriguing, a little bit sketchy. You know, he's coming off, he's playing recently, had some really good form recently. But also this year has been really shaky. He's been a mix of shaky, but then also recently more form, but then at the Open Championship, losing all kinds of strokes everywhere. The price, I mean, he's been putting at this price here a lot this year, and just really has not been great at that price for, I mean, like maybe a couple times, but he's been better at the more expensive price ranges this year than these 8K ranges. I don't know why, it's, you know, him and Justin Thomas. But that being said, he has a 5th place here. And so, now that win is not actually here, so I don't know why they're saying that, but he has a 5th place finish, and that was coming off like some pretty good, that was coming off 2 wins in 2022, so he's not coming off 2 wins, he's coming off a 12th, so maybe he doesn't really finish that 5th place. Now, the next guy I'm probably going to be really, really high on this dude is Im. Korean, fits the bill, real hot, playing really good. Last week, didn't really surge like he should have at a course he surged on, but probably would just bounce right back to the recent form he's been, looking at 7th, a 4th, a 12th, a 3rd, and then last finishes here, a 6th and a 12th. And last year, he was playing really hot, should have had, really, he missed a hole-out eagle, that, and then also missed a birdie putt back that ended up, really would have surged him to maybe 2nd place if he would have made it. So I think that people would be looking at him a lot differently if that were the case. Played really good here, 2022, and so I think that he's playing really good. He was the chalk last week. He didn't come through, and now he'll probably be chalkier, maybe a little bit in this range. But I just think that he's a really solid piece for 4 rounds of golf at a course that just seems to just fit the bill for him. He definitely was loving it. Almost should have had a ceiling performance there, and could have had hole-out eagles. I just feel like maybe he makes that magic happen this year now that he's playing a lot hotter coming in. Okay, coming in. He's coming. All right, we got Thigala up next, 8,600. Thigala is my boy, man. I mean, I like Thigala. I've always liked him. 13th and a 13th back-to-back. I mean, there's no reason why this dude couldn't be right there again. Yeah, you really can't discount him. He's fucking, yeah, he's a chewer. He's a killer. Around the green's been a little bit weak, it looks like. An approach has not been his best, but off the tee he's gaining. Putting, he's pretty good. He can putt on Bermuda. He's got a 6th and a 4th place finish recently. I don't see anything wrong with him. He's not my favorite play. I feel like because Im is my favorite play, it's hard to really like Thigala as much, because I probably wouldn't play an 87 and an 86 next to each other like that. Not to say you can't, but I just feel like normally the way they price it is pretty good, so I don't think most of the time you're not really going to play 87, 89, or I mean 88, 89, or 90, 91. Like, you're usually it's going to be spaced out more normally in the winning lineup. So I would say that'd be one of the reasons that I would be kind of off of him if I'm making one lineup. Now, if I'm playing a bunch of lineups, you know, he's in there 100%. But if I'm playing one lineup, I'm just trying to win all the money, I'm probably going to go with Im. But it's a tough call. I mean, they're both really, really good. And I feel like you can't go wrong with either one. I feel like Finau could be a little bit shaky. All 3 of them in that range I really like. I think it just, I don't think you can go wrong. I think the sketchy thing is when you get here into Billy Horschel. People really seem to like him. 7th and a 2nd. He's running a little bit too hot, don't you think? I know this course kind of fits his game, but look at the history. Didn't play there last year. The year before that, missed the cut. I'm just, you know, at the price, it's just a little bit too expensive for me. 8,500 for him at this point. I'm probably going to pass on that. Justin Thomas, same thing here. It's just, he's been priced at this spot like all year long. And has he fucking done anything? No. So, I mean, you guys, people were talking about him. People were saying he's a core play and he's a top play. I mean, I could see it because he's Justin Thomas, but it's just like, he's a choke artist, and he's just, something's up. I don't know what's up. All year, something's been up. I feel like he's turning into Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler type, you know, he's just kind of like becoming just a scrub. So I'm just really not going to risk playing him at this price I've seen him fail at all year long. Now, if he somehow beats me, whatever. I don't care. But I'm not risking it again here with this dude. Now, this is a guy, 8,300. He's been performing at this price, and I actually don't mind him at this price, is Sam Burns. He's dudded here and performed here. So it's a tough call. Coin flip for Sam Burns. I don't know if I would lock him in or high expose him. I definitely think I would play him because I like his Bermuda putting, and he's coming off a top finish, 12th finish, and he had a 20th here in 2022. So I think if he can putt, then he should be there. Rye is going to be heavy owned. I still like him, though, because of Glover last year winning and then going back-to-back, but I really don't think that that's going to happen again. I mean, people, if you really think that's going to happen again, that's wishful thinking there, bud. I mean, you're going to have Lucas Glover back-to-back, then Aaron Rye back-to-back. I mean, come on. It's not going to happen. But could he play top again? Sure. Yeah. Could he be up there again? Sure. You know, but look at the course history. 49th, 51. So, I mean, like, you're reaching. You guys out here talking about that one, you're reaching about that one. Cam Young, people were talking about betting him again. It's just like, good luck, dude. I bet him. Good fucking luck. I mean, like, he could have easily won that golf tournament last week. He collapsed. Choking collapsed. And then all of a sudden, Aaron Rye stayed steady. He was right there. Cam Young was right there, too, on Sunday. He was 5-1. He was the second favorite to win the golf. No, he was 4-1 at one point. Second favorite to win the golf tournament on Sunday. I'm sitting there with a ticket thinking I'm going to win. Choke, in the water, out of bounds. He just, there's something wrong with him. He can't get up. And even if here's my thing. He can get up there, sure. But when he's up there, his brain fucking gets fried, turns off, and he chokes. So I don't care if he gets up there. He ain't winning the golf tournament. And so he ain't making it into the cut for me. Now, he might still make it in some lineups. But if I'm playing one lineup, I'm looking to bet one outright. No way. Now, this dude I really could be intrigued on. Top driver of the golf ball, Shane Lowry, 8 flat. Did you know that Shane Lowry has never... now, this could be wrong, but this is what I saw on Instagram, so I don't know if this is true. Don't take me for this at face value, but what I saw, Shane Lowry has never made a tour championship. Never. In his career. Not once. So, I feel like he's pretty motivated, right? He's a top driver of the golf ball. He's played pretty good this year. He's had a lot of top finishes. Has he played well here? I'm not really seeing that, but I don't see why he couldn't play good here. I feel like he could easily have a good week. He's got the skill sets that fit this course, I think, so I wouldn't mind him. Wyndham Clark, people have been kind of steaming him up a little bit and all that stuff. I get it. I mean, I've been on him all year. I had him at the Players. I had him at different ones where he should have won. Didn't have him at Pebble Beach, though, but he's been coming around. So I get he's been coming around. A 14th, a 10th, a 9th. He's been coming around. His history here, though, doesn't really like this track, it seems like. That's all I would say. He's not really... doesn't really like this one. 66 and a 28th. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Could he bounce that back into like a top finish? Sure. But it's not looking like he really enjoys this one. Matt Fitzpatrick does have a top finish here, top 5, but he's also been playing like kind of hot garbage lately, but can randomly just spring around. But I don't know if I'd really be too interested in him. Adam Scott getting a lot of talk, you know. I mean, there's another guy that people would just talk up because, look, he had a 10th place and a 2nd place finish. 5th place here 2 years ago. I can see it, him being up there. Is he going to win? No. I mean, you guys keep pushing that shit, like, and it's just, no. He's not going to win any golf tournaments ever again. Can you just give that one up? Like, I don't know why you guys think this dude is going to ever win a golf tournament ever again. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. He's too old. It's just he's too old. You know what I'm saying? It's the same reason Justin Rose probably isn't going to win one again, even though he did win one a couple years ago. It's just like, not to say they can't ever win one again, but it's just like most likely if they do win one again, that's probably going to be their last one that they win. This dude's too old. I'm not seeing it. I'm out on him. Jordan Spieth, getting wrist surgery at the end of the season, also out on him. Although he's 6th place finisher last year, played pretty good. But there's just, you can't risk it. You know what I'm saying? He's getting wrist surgery. His wrist is fucked. He has to get surgery in the wrists. I'm like, how the fuck can you play a dude? How is he still playing? I don't understand it. I'm off of him. $7,600 Brian Harmon. Okay, this could be a top play. This could be an intriguing top play of the week. Coming off a 45th, 60th, okay, you know what I mean? But he could easily snap it back. 21st and a 9th before that. Had a 3rd place finish here in 2022, 31st year before. So even last year, didn't play too poorly. It was still up in the second half. So even if you play him and he has a 28th or 30th finish, not screwing your lineup, you know. Still could be winning you some money, but if he has that ceiling performance like he has had this year at the Players and different events, and it doesn't really fit the course more than anybody, short in the fairway, top approach, puts the lights out, around the green plate. I mean, He pretty much does everything you want and already has proven that he can play good here, and he's at a good price. So I would say that's kind of just like, you know what I mean? Just do the math on that one. Like, how do you not get some exposure to him and put an outright bet on him? So then I'll say probably outright bet on him. I like that. Ben On, sneaky player, another Korean. The Koreans I really like this week. He's a guy off the tee. He's gaining off the tee. On approach, he's gaining. Okay, so he's a guy you would think he's deep, so he must be wayward, but no, he can gain. 24th of the Olympics, 13th of the Open Championship. Now, I would say this course doesn't really appeal to me as a Ben On type of course, but I feel like he could easily prove that one wrong and just rattle off a top finish here. Jason Day, another sneaky kind of character. 52nd and 100th here. I mean, that's not really good, but recently Jason Day has been kind of really good. 9th, 13th, 23rd. Now, normally Jason Day is kind of ass, so I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Max Homa, 75. He's another guy that I was looking at, intrigued at because of his 6th place finish last year. Hasn't really done anything, though, this year. He's kind of been kind of ass other than that 3rd place at the fucking Masters. Really hasn't done shit. So I could be intrigued just because the recent history thing, just a course history thing, angle, and his price. But at the same time, losing off the tee. He's been losing off the tee for like 8 weeks in a row. It's just kind of like not really going to be good here. Davis Thompson, he's going to be kind of chalky. Everyone really likes this dude. I really like this dude. I had a dream about this dude winning and then didn't bet him, and then he won a couple weeks after that. It was kind of annoying because I bet him when he was 2nd place. Yeah, so, I mean, I kind of like, fuck this guy, but at the same time, everyone's on him, but he's never played here, so, I mean, I'm not really sure about what to do. If I'm going to lock this dude in a lineup or play this dude in a single entry, everyone's playing him. I don't know if I'm going with that with a dude who doesn't have the history. So it's more just like, I get he might have the skill set, but does he have the history? It sometimes doesn't really matter if you have the skill set, if the course doesn't fit your eye or your game. So I don't really know if I really like that one. Straka is intriguing, but also intriguing as a fade because he could be also super high owned. But maybe Thompson takes a lot of the ownership off of him. Maybe he then becomes a good play. But he played really good here, 2nd place to Will Zalatoris 2 years ago. Really accurate type of golfer who can stay in the fairway. And he says he's losing with the putter, but usually that's like where he can. Normally it's like a strong suit of his is putting, bombing. Like that's how he won the one event he won. Was bombing 30, 40, 50 footers left and right. So he is capable of doing that. And maybe Bermuda is that surface for him, with the longer breakers. He played good at the John Deere, so I think it's the one he won. They were comparing that one to this one, so I could definitely see Sepp Straka being up there. But I could also see him just ejecting and just playing like shit because it's maybe just, been playing a lot of golf and played the Olympics and, well, he skipped the Wyndham, so I don't know. Maybe give him a break, but I'm a little bit iffy on him. I'm kind of like just sketched on him. I like him as a play. I think he could easily be a good play, but I would not be surprised if he was not a good play. But that's my take on him, I guess. And we got Akshay Bhatia, 73. Should be somewhat popular, real straight in the fairway type of driver. Won this year, coming off some garbage finishes though. Miscut, 64, miscut, but then before that, 2nd and a 5th. Has not played here. But that's why it's kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? I really like him. A little bit sketchy, but I still think he's a viable option. But I would kind of maybe, I don't know, be wary on his recent form and not really having a course history. Then we got Bezuidenhout, another guy I feel like that everyone says should just play really well here. But look, really hasn't played well here. Didn't play last year and played good here the year before. Now, doesn't mean he can't change, but he's been playing good. I like him. He's one of my top dogs and top names in golf for me with his name, but he really just hasn't been paying off when I play him, and it's kind of been more at this price too, and I try to get sneaky with him, and I don't know, I probably will avoid some of him. Noren, I think, actually could be a decent play. It seems like he had a top finish here at one point, and he just is kind of like a sneaky type player, just could get up there, randomly finish top 15, top 20. But he's not the most interesting play here. I think the most interesting player is this Siwoo Chimp. Okay, he is another Korean. He's also been really good this year, not as recently, but because he can't putt. But this is one of those places where not putting might be okay. He's played good here. 16th, 42nd wasn't so good, but a 16th last year played all right. If it can neutralize the putter a little bit, then his skill set can be brought out, and then he could actually play good. and I just like the price. I like he's a Korean. I think the Koreans are going to do good here. All he's got to do is just find it with the putter a little bit, and I think he's going to have at least a top 25 finish, so I kind of like that. The price, McIntyre, everyone kind of likes him. I kind of like the skill set too. Has 2 wins this year. No reason why he shouldn't be able to be in the fairway, stay up in there, play pretty decent. Same with Pendrith. He's been good this year. Top finishes, coming off 2 top 5s. Maybe his driver distance, maybe he's a little bit too wayward. I'm not sure about that. That could prevent him, but it should be pretty decent. And then Keegan Bradley, we got 2 guys left in the 7K range here. Keegan Bradley, people are really liking him, and he's all right, but it's just he's a fucking bitch, man. I can't do it. I'm off of him. 22nd, and what's he done this year? He's been okay, but am I putting all the biscuits on a 7K fucking Bradley? No. Okay, Minwoo Lee, though, 7K flat, kind of intriguing. I don't know why, I just feel like it's a little bit intriguing. Not really the best, but he's just been kind of flashy, you know? Like, he's been on Instagram and on TikTok, and now it's the playoffs, and it's a bigger event, and, like, really hasn't done anything. And he just kind of just flashes a top 20 and just has some highlights. Could be something. And then finally, the winner of this one 2 years ago, Will Zalatoris, who has pretty much been... you can't play this dude. I don't care if he won this one. I can't play him because he's missing all these cuts. His back is torn to shreds. There's no way he's the same golfer he was last year or 2 years ago. And so I got to be off the guy, you know. But that's the 7K range, okay? Now let's try to break down the 6K range quickly. If I'm being honest, I would avoid this range. There's going to be a few guys down here, but what I want you to look at quickly is just a picture of this right here. Okay, last year, here's the actual score. If you can see, if you just take a look at the top right, you can kind of you'll see actual score next to my projection, okay? And what you'll notice is Lucas Glover had the most points, but look at the salary on the left side, the actual score on the right side. It might take you a little bit to just configure your eyes here, but if you'll notice, you only had one guy at 6K that really performed, and he had about 94 points. Okay, now there was Hadwin had 6,900, he had 82, 6,100 at 82, but really most of the dudes performed 7,200, 7,000, 78, 76, 72, 74. So a lot of 7K guys, you could have pretty much built your entire lineup around just those 7K guys, stuffed in a McIlroy, stuffed in a Cantlay or a Fleetwood as your starting dude. Maybe you started Cantlay and Fleetwood as your starting guy. Maybe you started with McIlroy as your starting guy, and you went down with Homa at 8,800, and then you stuffed in, Corey Connors at 7.6, and then that gave you room, and then you could have just only played 7Ks, and then boom, you have Lucas Glover in there, and you have, you got maybe Russell Henley and Taylor Moore, and then you got, Justin Rose maybe, or Cam Davis. So really, it's like, I think a good strategy this week, and probably a strategy that I will employ, is to really just not play a lot of this 6K garbage, okay? Now, if I'm going to go down here and take a peek at some guys that maybe have some value, because I really just don't want to go through all of these dudes because it'd be a little quicker video, I would probably say that the ones that really intrigue me, if I'm going to go all the way to the bottom first just to employ that, I would say it's 6K flat. Nick Taylor could be interesting. 6,100 of Brendan Todd could be interesting. I kind of like Chris Kirk as a sneaky play, as everyone would play the guys around him. He actually had a good finish here. I wouldn't mind Eckroat or Taylor Moore, who played good here too. Just some down south type of guys because you're playing in Memphis. Players who've been real accurate. Players who I'd avoid McCarthy. He's going to be really popular, I think, at that price. And I think it makes sense because of his skill set, and he played decent last week. But garbage finish last year. Worst finish of anybody in the field last year here. So that's my problem with him. He finished dead last year. So just take that as you will when it comes to him. Justin Rose, just a little bit too old, doesn't really like the history. If you're looking for history guys, Cam Davis, I would say, is probably the best play in this range. Cam Davis is coming off a win this year, some top finishes, top 6 and a top 13 here. So Cam Davis, and that's really all I got to say about the 6K range, okay? That's it. All right. So that's the breakdown for the DFS. Now let's just go to the outright bets. I got 3 outright bets for you guys, okay, and that's it. And then we're wiping this load, okay? Take a look at his big load right here. He's gonna wipe the slate clean for you monkeys, you pigs, you degenerate lizards, okay? Here's my 3 picks. Number 1, Rory McIlroy wins the golf tournament. He's coming, guys. It's not just going to go the rest of the year without him getting a win. There's 3 events left. He finished top 3 here last year. For whatever reason, he likes it here. He had the most fantasy points other than Lucas Glover. So I'm like, he clearly was carving up last year. And I'm just going to assume he's going to bring that right back off a top finish at the Olympics. Likes the track, gives him an edge over Scheffler, gives him an edge over Xander, gives him an edge over those top dudes. He's a beast, he's a bully. He's my first bet of the card, okay? Second bet of the card, Sung Jae Im was a top play last week, was 30% owned last week, was the favorite to win last week. Now he's a value. Now he's like 35 to 1. Treat, okay? Loves the track, increase in tasty form. He's Korean, he's a bully. He can do all the things necessary to win this one, and last year he was a whole lot eagle away from finishing top 2. Maybe even forcing, if he makes that whole lot eagle, now he has a chance to maybe even put another one on the card and make a playoff. It was 15 under, and he would have been 14. So there's a scenario where Im makes an eagle, has a couple holes left, maybe gets something done, maybe forces the play, maybe wins the tournament last year. So I think that momentum, he hasn't had his ceiling performance on this golf course yet. So give me Sung Jae Im. And then finally, the last guy we're going to go with is going to be Brian Harman. Okay, Brian Harman, he fits the track perfectly, 7,600, he's cheaper, people weren't paying attention to him, he makes a lot of sense. It happened the same way at the Players. Russell Henley was super expensive, he was fucking 9,000 or 89 or something, but then Brian Harman, who made more sense, who actually is pretty much a very similar golfer to a Russell Henley, who's 9,000, ends up finishing top 2 because he made a lot of sense, because it was all about accuracy in the fairway and short course and small greens and around the greens and putting, and that fits more of a Brian Harman than does a Russell Henley. So why is Russell Henley 9,000 and Brian Harman 76? I don't get it. And so because of that, I'm going to go with Brian Harman as my third and final outright bet. That's it for the Beach Street Sports FedEx Cup breakdown. Thanks for watching if you got this far. Hopefully we win some coin this week. Stay tuned for next week. We'll break down the BMW, and then eventually we're going to get some NFL going here. Steelers podcast, full NFL podcast breakdowns for all the slate type bullshit, the Monday nights, the Sunday nights, all that shit. Stay tuned. More Beat Street. Follow on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And if you like beats, Beat Street Slappers, okay? Follow Beat Street Slappers for some beats, okay? If you like rap beats, okay? That's all I got to say. Sorry for all the okays, okay? You know what I'm trying to say? Okay. Alright, fuck you. See you later.